You failed to improve and you got stuck. You can't carry your games even when ahead. You also lose lane quite often. This is frustrating. Normally the advice you get from people in this situation is to look at macro videos and learn fundamentals, but everything you see looks generic and unrelatable. Moreover, you just want to enjoy the game and climb, not get a PhD in macro analysis. What if I told you that there is a way to improve fast, while playing the game and having fun? No more endless YouTube scrolling, looking for some new mid-game trick to finally reach your dream rank. Instead, a simple and straightforward process with a rewarding feedback loop. Sounds good? Let's get started. The plan is simple. We will kill our enemy. Now, before we start getting better, we need some things to be taken care of. I strongly suggest pausing the video and taking notes, since there will be a lot of information to retain. If I say to prepare something or do something, do it instantly if possible. If you miss anything and start the process unprepared, there is no guarantee that you will improve. So, in order to kill our enemy, we will need a good pool. So what defines a good pool? There are two main factors. There is the enjoyment of the champions included, and there is the agency of our selected picks. You want to pick champions that are high in both values for optimal performance. Notably, I would say that fun is more important than their agency. Let's set some rules. They are very important for this training program to function, and any sort of melding with them will endanger your further improvement. Rule 1. You have 3 slots for champions. I will explain each slot in a moment. Rule 2. You cannot play more than these 3 until Grandmaster when you unlock the 4th slot. Rule 3. You stick with these champions no matter what. I find that, if it's allowed, players will always chase the new hot pick. This is bad for improvement. Even if your favorite champion gets nerfed, they will come back up eventually. If you stick to it, you will be more than ready to jump in elo with every small buff, without needing additional improvement. Treat playing champions that are temporarily out of meta like training in a gravity chamber in Dragon Ball. Sure, it's hard, but the payoff you get when you exit it is immense. Rule 4. The current meta doesn't matter when choosing your pool, for the reasons mentioned above. Forget elo for now. Raise your skill level. Your rank will follow quickly. Now, onto the individual slots. Slot 1. Main champion, the elo gainer. Your favorite champion that you will always feel good playing. I suggest pausing the video, opening a notepad and picking the champion. That way you will be ready to start learning instantly after finishing this video. I don't suggest looking for the perfect pick. Just think, if you had to play 1,000 games as a one trick, what champion would you choose? You probably already have something in the back of your mind. A champion that you really like and you stuck with it throughout the years. For example, I would personally go with Camille. I love the character and I never get bored of playing her. She likes unplayable matchups and has only one lane counter. I hate this dog. All the other champions can be beaten with skill. The main champion is the one I would be blind picking the most, so it's certainly an important factor in my decision. Furthermore, she is relevant at all stages of the game and is flexible, which plays well into the agency parameter. Slot 2. Secondary champion, the trusty counter pick. This is a champion that can counter well against popular blind picks. It shouldn't be too hard mechanically, since you will play it a bit less than your main pick. My personal choice here, again, just as an example, is Renekton. It plays very well into almost anything, and when it counters hard. He has lower agency in the late game than Camille, so having him as my main champion would get boring after a while. There are only so many Gnar lanes I can go slightly ahead in before going insane. Remember, we want to kill our opponent, not shake hands with him. Slot 3. Fallback champion, the last backup. So, what if both of your champions are unavailable for some reason, be it bans or enemies taking them away? In this case, we want to pick a that simple champion that gets us through any lane into mid-game teamfights. My pick would be either Sion, Ornn, or Malphite, obviously with a tank build. Any of these should be able to stall the lane and be very annoying to deal with in teamfights. They all have a very low skill floor, so picking them rarely won't cause problems. Occasionally, you will even win the lane, which will simply win you the game afterwards. Before going into the 4th slot, let's answer a question you might have. What if the 3 champions are banned? You can either pick another fallback champion, like Sion instead of Ornn, or just dodge. Your champions being off the table or your team going disco Nunu are the only real reasons you should dodge anyways. So you don't have to force yourself to not play your pool, just go next. Notably, avoiding dodging helps you build up mental resistance to being counterpicked. So, if I pick Camille and the enemy picks Darius, that's not a great matchup. It's fully playable, but it's rather hard and you need to be really good to win it. Still, I would not dodge this, and instead play it out, get better at it. Remember, if all the Camille players are dodging a matchup, and you decide to play it out, you are the only one with expertise in it. You are the one that sets the curve that the others are following. That's how I beat a lot of Jax players. Camille players usually permaban Jax, so any given Jax player has 0 experience playing into Camille and just gets stomped. Remember, our enemy still blitz even in a good matchup. Just kill him. Until around Grandmaster, the players in your elo are beatable in any matchup, no matter how bad it is in theory, so don't stress out so much about it. Stop constantly evaluating matchups on the good to bad scale, and you will see rapid improvements with no mental blocks in sight. Turn off your counter stats, UGG, OPGG, Blitz, Professor, it's all noise. Just focus on your game. Kill your enemy. Slot 4, the Meta Abuser. This is the only slot you should be adapting to the meta. It only matters in Grandmasters and above, so this is when this slot gets unlocked. We basically put whatever is the strongest champion on the patch in here and roll with it. When you hit GM, you will be able to learn new champions in depth and branch out very fast. Playing whatever is the strongest is just good at that level. You might be looking for a serious team at that point, and playing the meta helps find it more easily. I can't give a pick example here since you will likely watch this video at an unknown time to me. And if you didn't cheat and you are truly high elo when using the 4th slot, you will know what the current meta is anyways. If you don't know what to put in the 4th slot, it's probably not for you and you should stick to your base 3. In summary, I pick my pool based on agency in the kit of the champions and my enjoyment. I ignore the meta, it's a trap that keeps you distracted from what really matters and it's likely irrelevant for you. Seriously, just ask yourself. If I put Zeus on my account and he plays my pool, will he reach Challenger on my server? If the answer is yes, and it will be yes unless you really try to pick some awful champions, your pool is good enough and the meta doesn't matter. Calm down. I recommend a quick exercise. I suggest you do it with me. We will take a deep breath over the course of 4 seconds with our nose, hold it for 7 seconds, and finally exhale with our mouth over 8 seconds. Try it and see if it helps. 2 repetitions is usually good enough to calm me down, no matter how anxious or excited I might be. I will now start playing the timer. I suggest following along with it. Done. Now, why did we do this? You want to be calm at every point of the process, in the game and out of the game. Inside of the game, you want to be processing information and executing your plans. Turn off the Twitch stream in the background, stop the music, and get immersed in the game. You want every game you play to be a celebration of your skill and improvement. Would you distract yourself during your own wedding, or would you rather enjoy the moment and use it to its fullest? That limiting of stimuli will help you greatly with focus and allow you to make every play session special. Obviously, I'm not covering edge cases like attention disorders here. Viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, focus on yourself. Make sure that you look to push your limits with every game. It doesn't have to be limit testing. It might be just having the discipline to follow a trade pattern for one wave longer than the last time. If you do that, things like your teammates making mistakes won't matter as much. You are the only common factor in your games. Kill your enemy. Also, just mute all. Your teammates have nothing interesting to say. No, you are not immune to tilt from reading mean comments. Just mute all and get the chat out of the way. I personally also mute emotes and I play without eye candy. I would additionally mute the announcer. It doesn't give any information and is very distracting.
Enemy triple kill. Enemy triple kill. Enemy triple kill.
Out of the game, I don't expect you to be a monk and only think about league improvement, so the rules are much more lax here. What's important is how you interact with the game outside of it. There is a good video from Coach Curtis on this topic, a link is in the description, and the brief summary is that if after a good play you go and behave very positively, boost your ego and fixate on it, you will experience adverse effects when losing. The higher your peaks, the lower your lows. Try to middle it out. I want you to stay humble and diligent. Be aware of your skill, but don't go around yelling about it. Be sad because of losses. Make the pain push you forward, but never let rage and anger take over. Stay calm and keep improving. Be happy while doing so. Always look to better yourself. Kill your enemy. You prepared the pool, fortified your mental. Now what? It's time to play a game and review it. You might be thinking, me? Review? I never did it. I can't. I don't know how to. Don't worry. This process doesn't require you to have any experience with reviewing. In fact, it was originally designed as a way to learn new champions from zero, so it's very beginner friendly. Notably, we skip things like jungle tracking, since this is something you will get a feel for naturally while applying the process and reviewing your games, without any need to specifically focus on it. There will be 3 levels of review: Crook, Hitman and Boss. Let's go through them. Level 1, Crook. Advice for lower elo players or people new to their champions. This level only focuses on surface level analysis. How to be stronger than my enemy and win a trade, then kill him. Anyone with basic reasoning skills can use this and apply this level of analysis, no matter their elo. Level 10, Hitman. This is for players around gold to low emerald, who already know the basics of their champions. We will look to optimize our trading patterns and timings in the moment, without any serious planning ahead. We just want to deal more damage and kill our enemy. Level 25, Boss. This level is for players above Platinum, who know their champions and already optimize their trading mechanics. The main focus in this level is long-term planning of trades and discipline with trading patterns and their application. Now that we know the levels, let's get into the review. We will be looking at a game of Renekton vs Set in low emerald. Now, you might want to jump straight into your VOD. However, we will start with an external VOD to show 2 things. First, it's a good habit to check another VOD before you look into yours. It might give you a new perspective, and you build up a sort of library of VODs that you know and you use regularly to improve. The other reason for it is that we want to assume, for the sake of this video, that we don't know anything about this matchup to allow us to showcase the learning process. So we will start with a VOD of Zeus, and we will do this level by level. So, starting with the lowest level. Again, don't know anything about the matchup. Let's just see what he does. Okay, he queues and runs away. Why? We don't know yet. Let's go and check later. Again, he queues and runs away. We don't know why yet, so let's see what he does next. He queues and runs away. But now he doesn't. That's really weird. Let's go and see why this happened. If we go back to the first two instances of him running away, we can see that he has low fury, but when he allies, he has more fury. At the same time, on the third queue, he had a lot of fury, but he didn't go forward. Why? Well, Seth had his ability up yet, so he probably didn't want to engage him too much. He was also in the enemy wave which was hitting him. It's not a good spot to be in all around. However, once Seth threw out his E, he could easily ally him, he was getting his Q back, and Seth had nothing to respond to it. The final takeaway is that when we have Fury and abilities, we beat Seth. If he has no abilities, we still beat him easily. The only situation in which we lose level 1 is if we have low Fury and he has his abilities up. That's when we avoid him and stack up our Fury for future trades. That's what I would like you to note down. I will show you how to take notes after I cover all of the levels of review in the ending section of the video. Now, if we look at the replay from our Renekton player, we see that he isn't stacking up Fury, which is already weird since we want our Fury, and he instantly just goes in onto the Seth. Seth still has his abilities up and stuns him. This will not be a great trade for us. Furthermore, we are standing in the middle of the wave. This is everything that Zeus avoided, and because of this, Renekton loses. This is not what we want to do, and this is when we end the review. We note down our findings, okay, I did the opposite of what I should have done, and move on to the next game, play it out. Before we get into the next game, in the pre-game lobby, once we know our opponent, we can check our notes on the matchup we have written down beforehand. That way we are constantly learning and updating our knowledge, staying fresh and ready to win. Now, for the Hitman level review, we already know the Fury thing. Now let's look at how to optimize our trades. So here, we saw that he hits the wave and Seth. That's really good for him, obviously more Fury, more healing, everything. We can optimize this way. Let's look further. He stacks Fury, okay, we already know this. He does auto Q and through the whole wave. He positioned himself in the wave. This allowed him to just get more damage and more healing out. That's great. Again, auto Q and Q the whole wave. He gets the wave advantage this way, stacks up Fury, gets more damage out, all great stuff, and here he just runs him down. Always auto Q, unless he is really trying to space the Seth. So if we look, we can see that at the very start, he spaced Seth. He was looking to run away, so he didn't go for the auto. He didn't have time for this. But later, when he felt more comfortable, he went for an auto Q. Here, Seth doesn't have E, he can't pull us. Easy win for us. Let's note down what we found out. First of all, we can use the auto Q trading pattern whenever Seth doesn't have his E to enable us to win the trade more easily at any Fury level. Second, we can hit the whole wave if we position well enough. That lets us stack Fury faster, heals us more. Overall, it just enables our champion to do more and be more efficient. Third, we always need to look at Seth's key ability E. Everything is played around it. If he doesn't have it, we just beat him. If he has it, we need to kite around it to make sure that we don't int into him. That's how we can really make the difference in this matchup. Tracking his E. That's what we need to look out for. Let's look at our Renekton game again, this time from a Hitman perspective. Obviously, in a normal review, we still note that he isn't stacking Fury and isn't playing around this. However, if we only look at the pure Hitman level stuff, let's look at his trading mechanics and at how he optimizes them. He does try to run into the wave. He doesn't auto-Q. That's not very good. Here he tanks minion aggro. That's obviously very inefficient. And he runs out in a bad spot, honestly. However, he will have one more trade, and let's see how he plays it. Just Q, no auto attacks. That's not how you win this game. This is actually quite an interesting example, because normally the targeted level for this kind of elo is Hitman to boss. But as we can see, sometimes you just make basic mistakes. It's fine to reflect on them, go back to the simpler level, improve, climb back up, and again, get ready to win more, get ready to improve, be excited for it. Speed up, right? But sometimes you just have to look at the basics, at your champion management. It's completely okay, it's normal, there is no shame in that. Now, on to the boss level review. This time, we will spend a bit more time thinking about the game even before it begins. The boss level review is quite in depth and there is planning, so it's hard to do it in the moment. That's why you notice a tonal shift here. We are way more calm and grounded, chill about this, no rush. So, we already know that we want to kite the first 1, 2, 3 Qs before we get enough fury to beat the set one-on-one. That's why we will, again, just kite the first Qs and look to get the push. After that, we will look at the set E usage. If his E is done, we can just go on to him. Now, I have seen this matchup a bit more, and you will see it more if you review different VODs. Very often the Renekton is able to all-in on the third Q. In a lot of matchups, honestly, that's why I call this the Renekton free Q play. It's a very good way to play the champion early on and will get you wins in many lanes. It works against every kind of champion as long as you win the matchup 1v1 under correct conditions, so into tanks, assassins, bruisers, and let's say fighters like Camille or Fiora. Okay, let's start our VOD. So, according to the plan, we are just kiting, running away, trading some damage, but mostly looking to push the wave. Here a good trade, it allows us to hit all the minions and sets up the level 3 crash that we would be looking for. We are getting the push, we are getting control. Here, Seth uses his E very thoughtlessly, he is in no position to fight us. We just punish him, we already knew that this was our plan, and then we have full wave control, we can look to abuse it, crash the wave. We still have our D shield, we still have our potion, we are in a great spot here. Our bone plating will come back on the next wave, and we can use it then to, for example, dive the set if he doesn't heal up fast enough. Our jungler is buffing to us, we can dive. There are many options for us to win this game, because we gave ourselves the control on the first wave. This is how you want to be thinking about the game as a boss. You want to be in control, you want to be the one that dictates the situation. You are the boss, right? So, in summary, all we are looking for is control, plans, and we need to have discipline when executing them. We planned for us to all-in the set after he is us, and we executed it perfectly. We didn't get into any weird scrambles level 1 on the first or the second Q. We just waited it out and we went in when we had the better opportunity to. That's what defines good players. Well-defined trading patterns that are efficient, and the discipline that they display when using them. A great US examples of this, I would say, are Drutut and Jukil. They have very clear trading patterns that they repeat every game, and watching them will definitely help you improve your understanding of this concept. Now, with these reviews out of the way, let's see at how we can actually take notes, save them, and display them quickly before every game. We aren't looking at the Emerald Renekton because there isn't enough material for us to work with in that replay. The mistakes that he makes are too low level for this. So hopefully from the Zeus review you will see what kinds of things to look for, and you will be able to use them in your games to personalize your learning experience. To take notes, you can use any program of your choice. I recommend Neovim with the NVChat distribution, or my program for taking champion notes. Link is in the description. When writing notes, you want to keep a consistent style. You want to be concise and not drag them out for too much, but at the same time you don't want to skip over important concepts when you are writing down your findings. Here's how I would write notes at every level of review. Crook. These notes are very simple, they are easily applicable in your next game, and they allow you to get a basic understanding of how your champion interacts with the game. I need Fury to win trades early on. I can hit minions to stack up Fury. If he throws his E, I can just beat him up. As you can see, this isn't anything complicated, but it's clearly something that lower elo players could use to improve. Now, onto the Hitman notes. As I said before, we assume that the Hitman player knows the concepts from the Crook level. So, to keep our notes shorter, we aren't going to be copy-pasting what we had in our Crook section. These notes contain information on how to optimize trades. I can auto-Q to deal more damage in short trades. I want to hit the wave with Q to push and stack Fury. Note how we are only writing about what we saw. We aren't preparing anything for level 6 or level 10 or level 18. We didn't see it yet. However, as you review more, you will go further and further into the game, and then you will find yourself writing notes for the later stages. Now, for the boss section. These notes contain our long-term plans. We already assume that we know how to optimize our trades mechanically. So, we want to play for the 3 or 4 Qs play that I talked about before. We know that we want to kite the set on the first 2 Qs, while setting up push and getting as much Fury as possible for the 3rd and the 4th Q. We know that he has to throw E at some point, and then we can take control of the lane, since set is completely on cooldown at that point. As you can see, the note-taking process isn't anything esoteric. It's very simple at all levels of play, and it's something that you can use to improve very easily. As the last point regarding notes, I suggest looking over them every single game. So, you are waiting in your pregame lobby and your opponent is set and you are playing Renekton, like in our example. Open up these notes, look over them, remind yourself about what you want to do and how you want to win, and you will see drastic improvements in your level of play. That's how you become the best. Consistent practice that's focused on something, not just random and abstract. I will improve my macro today. That doesn't lead to anything. With this, I believe that you are well equipped to improve yourself. Let's get to the last section of the video. I will do a little trick. This is a cute puppy, and if you exit the video before I tell you to, it will get very sad, so please don't do that. If you like this video, please forward it to a friend or whoever you feel might need it. Maybe a top laner ran you down in solo queue, send it to him, maybe he will get better. I would appreciate it a lot. If you didn't like this video, please leave some feedback so that I can know what to improve on. Lastly, huge thanks to my friend Cyrax who helped me with the editing of this video and with the beta testing of the footage. I appreciate his help a lot. Okay, the puppy will forgive you if you leave the video now. Thanks for coming, and I will see you later.